Welcome to this explainer on audit in an automated environment. Look, if you're prepping for your exams right now, you already know the business world has completely shifted from old-school paper ledgers to these massive, complex digital systems. Today, we're focusing on exactly what that shift means for an auditor. We are going to completely unpack Unit 3 top to bottom, giving you such a solid conceptual understanding that you won't even need to open the textbook again. Think of this as your mandatory digital upgrade. Let's get started.
Here is your ultimate exam blueprint checklist. We're going to cover the automated environment, IT risks and their impact, the 3 IT controls, testing methods, data analytics, and finally, internal financial controls.
Okay, Section 1, the automated business environment, understanding the digital battlefield. So, what does it actually mean when a business operates in an automated environment? Put simply, it's an environment where the day-to-day processes, the accounting, and even the decision-making are being run by information systems. But, and this is key, not all digital environments are created equal. If a company is using an integrated enterprise resource planning system, an ERP like SAP or Oracle, that is considered a highly complex environment to audit because literally everything is deeply interconnected. On the flip side, if a company is just using standard off-the-shelf accounting software, it's way less automated and honestly a lot less complex for an auditor to navigate. Now, regardless of the complexity, these systems share some core features, and trust me, you are going to want to burn these bullet points into your memory for the exam. Automated environments give businesses way faster operations and incredible accuracy in processing data. They can chew through massive transaction volumes without breaking a sweat. You also generally get better security and controls, and because a machine is doing the math, they are way less prone to human error. Plus, they offer fantastic connectivity across different business units. Sounds pretty perfect, right? Well, actually no, not exactly.
That brings us to Section 2, IT risks and audit impact, threats to the digital system. Because while technology solves a ton of problems, it introduces some entirely new, frankly terrifying threats. As an auditor, you have to be extremely vigilant about the risks hiding in these IT systems. What if the system is fed bad data or it's processing good data inaccurately? Then there's the huge risk of unauthorized access. And more critically, seriously, examiners absolutely love to test this, is the risk of direct back-end data changes. If someone has privileged access, like a super user, they might just bypass the normal controls entirely and tweak the numbers in the back end. We also have to watch out for a lack of segregation of duties, unauthorized system changes, failing to update programs, and of course the absolute worst-case scenario, a total loss of data.
So what's the so what here? How do these IT risks cascade down and actually impact your job as an auditor? Well, first off, if we can't address these risks, it means we can't rely on the system's data. That leads to step 1. We have to drastically increase our substantive checking. We're talking highly detailed, manual checks of basically everything. Second, we can no longer rely on automated controls. Non-reliance means a massive mountain of additional manual audit work for us. And third, if these risks are severe enough, especially when it comes to a company's regulatory requirements, it might ultimately force us to modify the auditor's report.
Moving right along to Section 3, the 3 IT controls, defending the automated environment. So how does a business actually defend itself against all those risks we just talked about? I want you to think of this like a highly secure bank vault. The absolute bedrock, the foundation of the whole building, is what we call general IT controls. By definition, these are the overarching policies and procedures that relate to many applications at once. They exist to support the effective functioning of application controls. Think about it. If your general IT controls are weak, the foundation is cracked, and that means everything built on top of it is completely compromised. There are 4 main pillars of these general IT controls, and you definitely need to know this matrix. First up, controls over data center and network operations. This covers things like batch jobs and backups, just to ensure production systems actually meet financial reporting objectives. Second, program change controls. When a system is updated or modified, these ensure it continues to meet those objectives. Basically, change management. Third is access security, which just ensures that anyone accessing programs and data is properly authenticated and authorized. No intruders allowed. And fourth, application system acquisition, development, and maintenance. This ensures that when a company builds or buys a new system, it's configured right from day one. Now let's see how that foundation supports the next 2 types of controls. If general IT controls are the foundation of the bank, application controls are the specific combination locks on the safe doors. Automated application controls are embedded directly into the IT applications themselves, like your ERPs. We're talking edit checks, input validations, sequence number checks, stuff like that.
But then we have this interesting hybrid category called IT-dependent controls. These are actually manual controls performed by human beings, but they rely entirely on data or reports spat out by the IT system. And because they rely on that system data, their effectiveness completely depends on those general IT controls being rock solid.
All right, Section 4, Testing Automated Environments, the Auditor's Toolkit.
Now that we understand how the digital fortress is built, it's time to open up the Auditor's Toolkit and see how we test it. I want to anchor your attention right here on the number 4. Why? Because when you are testing an automated environment, there are exactly 4 types of audit tests you need to recall. Those 4 are inquiry, observation, inspection, and reperformance. Now, this table breaks down a really critical exam concept, the balancing act between efficiency and effectiveness. Look at inquiry, just asking people questions. It's incredibly efficient, super fast, but it gives you the absolute least reliable audit evidence. You can't just take their word for it. Then jump down to reperformance. This is where you independently run the data through your own tools. It gives you the best possible audit evidence. It's bulletproof, but it takes forever. It is the least efficient. So the magic trick for an auditor is finding the sweet spot. As a general rule, combining inquiry with inspection gives you the most effective and efficient audit evidence.
When we're in the thick of risk assessment, we also have to figure out the suitability of the controls themselves. When do we rely on a human, and when do we rely on a machine? Manual control elements are much better suited for large, unusual, or non-recurring transactions. You know, those weird one-off situations where you really need human judgment. Conversely, automated control elements are absolutely perfect for high-volume, recurring transactions where errors are highly predictable and a machine can just catch them instantly.
And here is how all of this theory fits together into the real-world end-to-end audit approach. We kick off with risk assessment, identifying the significant accounts and IT risks. Then we move into understand and evaluate. That's where we document the processes, draw flowcharts, and evaluate the IT general and application controls. Next up is testing for operating effectiveness, where we do our sample testing and check system reports. And finally, the whole thing culminates in reporting. That's where we evaluate any control deficiencies and officially issue our auditor's report.
Let's move to Section 5, Data Analytics and CAATs Powering Up the Audit.
To actually execute this modern audit approach efficiently, you can't just use a calculator and a notepad anymore. We need modern tools. Data analytics is how we tap into massive oceans of electronic data to extract meaningful insights. And the specific mechanisms, the literal software tools that auditors use to do this in the field, those are called CATs, or computer-assisted auditing techniques. Specialized audit tools like IDEA and ACL are your standard go-to examples of CATs.
The sheer power these tools give you is mind-blowing. Let's do a rapid-fire checklist of what you can actually do with data analytics. You can instantly check the completeness of a dataset that has millions of rows. You can automatically select completely random or systematic audit samples. You can recompute entire ledger balances, reconstruct a trial balance from raw data, and instantly reperform really complex mathematical calculations like depreciation. You can even scan massive volumes of journal entries specifically to hunt for fraud, and clearly evaluate the impact of any control deficiencies. It's a total game changer.
Finally, Section 6, Internal Financial Controls, the Final Accountability.
This is where we bring all this IT theory back home to the core regulatory requirement of the business itself. Internal financial controls, or IFC, are the policies and procedures a company puts in place to guarantee 5 major objectives. 1. The reliability of financial reporting. 2. The effectiveness and efficiency of operations. 3. Strict compliance with laws and regulations. 4. Safeguarding of assets. And 5. The prevention and detection of frauds. Even if a business is 100% automated, these 5 pillars absolutely must be guaranteed.
But here's the golden question. Who is responsible for what? The exam loves to test this boundary, so listen closely. The directors and management hold the primary responsibility for actually implementing and maintaining an effective internal controls framework. It's their job to build it. The auditors, we are strictly responsible for evaluating, validating, and reporting on the design and operating effectiveness of those controls. Simply put, management builds the digital fortress, auditors test the locks.
Which leads us to a final thought to wrap up this explainer. In a business world driven almost entirely by technology, is an auditor without digital skills truly equipped to evaluate internal financial controls? Look, understanding this unit isn't just about ticking a box to pass an exam. It's about recognizing that automation is the present and it's definitely the future. Mastering these concepts is exactly what's going to make you a highly relevant powerhouse auditor in the digital age. Keep reviewing these concepts, really grasp the logic of how the risks connect to the controls, and you are going to absolutely crush this topic. Keep learning, and good luck.